AITA for asking my wife rhetorically if she wants our son to get hurt? I am 28. Live with my wife Macy. F 28. We have an infant son named Leo. Leo is our first and only child, and is 5 months old. Macy works part-time and I work full-time. Macy works on Tuesdays but I don't. Macy normally leaves the house at around 8 a.m. to get to work on time. But I like to take the opportunity to sleep in when I can get it. Whenever Macy gets ready for work, Leo will usually start crying in his crib even after he's had his first feed of the day. This doesn't wake me up unless he's been crying for a little while because I'm a heavy sleeper. For the past 2 Tuesdays, Macy has decided to take Leo out of his crib and put him in our bed with me right before she leaves for work. Even though I'm sound asleep, she doesn't do anything to wake me up because she's leaving for work. And Leo stops crying when she puts him in our bed. Luckily nothing bad has happened yet, but I know the risks of putting a baby in a normal bed with an adult sleeping in it. Leo crawls and I'm worried that he could fall out of the bed and hurt himself. I talked to Macy about this and told her to just leave Leo in his crib when she's getting ready for work. Macy got annoyed and said that she can't just leave him to cry, and said I'm a bad father for not noticing and waking up when Leo is in the bed, saying that if it was her, she'd notice and wake up. I got angry and told Macy that she's being unreasonable and asked her what she thought would happen if Leo fell out of the bed. I asked her if she wanted Leo to get injured. Macy got really mad and has gone to stay with her sister for a couple of days and took Leo with her, and hasn't been answering my texts or calls. She still hasn't come home. I've never seen Macy this angry with me before, so I'm wondering if I was the off or how I approached this. ETA. I get off work at 4-5 a.m. on weekdays, so I'm getting around 3 hours sleep when Macy goes to work. Macy only works 1 day a week. We don't need her income and I make more money, but she likes her job and I respect her choice to work. I work 70 hours a week and do my fair share of housework and cooking when I'm home, so I sleep like the deceased when I'm in bed. You two are talking past one another and missing the real issue. She can't get ready to go to work with a crying baby. You unfortunately do not have the luxury of sleeping in on Tuesdays while he is still so young. You need to get up on Tuesdays and parent while she is getting ready for and going off to work. I'm going to say NTA and I don't care if I get downvoted. You state you work 70 hours a week, and on the day she works you've only got 3 hours of sleep before she leaves. So to the people hung up on you wanting to sleep in, no, you deserve some sleep after working. Babies can cry. If he's been changed and fed, he'll be okay for a bit. I definitely think you should set an alarm so he's not alone, crying long. But he'll be okay for a little bit. She should not be leaving him in the bed with you. It'll be more dangerous if you were to care for him after working all night and not having any rest. Perhaps you could take off the night before her workdays, so you're well rested? After the edit I kinda feel like NTA. Hear me out, watching a child after 3 hours of sleep is not safe. Op works the job that pays the bills. She works to get out of the house. I'm all for moms getting a break. But does it have to be at a time when the working parent needs more sleep? This is not just a sleeping in on a weekend situation. Your wife for just leaving the baby in the bed without making sure you are awake to supervise. You for sleeping in. Your parents now. She has to get ready for work Tuesdays. Tough luck for you. You have to get up and not sleep in. Go to bed earlier if you want your beauty sleep. Edit. Given people keep mentioning it. In the original, the op didn't mention when they get off work. Well, that sucks. You still know the schedule and need to wake up at a specific time. Take power naps when the baby naps is all I can suggest. Maybe get one of those bassinets you can place in your bed next to you. Then the baby is still walled in but gets to sleep next to you and can see you. You could also sleep on the floor and put the bassinet next to you. Sleeping on the floor can actually be really comfy. Perhaps get a tatami and even a shakibuten for yourself. Get a pack and play for the master bedroom. Place baby in it after early morning feeding. Baby will be safe, and dad should wake to his nearby cries. Wow. Y'all are so up in arms when the man said he's only had 3 hours of sleep when she leaves. She knows he's tired. She knows he's a heavy sleeper and she still puts the baby in the bed. I'm a mom. I have sleep disorders and can sleep through a hurricane, and I worked my ass off. Once I'm awake, I'm awake. I paid my mom person to babysit because I took classes at night and then went straight to work. Graveyard shift. She knew my sleeping habits, so she made sure I was awake before she left the kiddo. 5 extra minutes to make sure I'm awake before she left. That's all it took. When kiddo napped, I napped too. That's how I managed not to die of sleep deprivation and overworking. He simply pointed out what can happen, and believe me, it's a scary thought for those of us who sleep this heavily. 5 minutes before y'all walk out the door. So simple, yet he's the for being tired from working to provide for his family? Come on y'all, do better. NTA in my opinion. If you read his replies in the comments, I would definitely go with NTA. He is getting 3 hours of sleep because he's coming off of a night shift, and sleeping in is him getting 3 hours of sleep. He also shares they don't need his wife's income from the part-time job and that it's something she wants to do, and he supports her in doing this. So basically he is supporting his wife to go do the part-time job by parenting his child after 3 hours of sleep, and is expected to function properly while doing this and working 70 hours a week. That's totally not fair to him at all. Info. Why haven't you been setting an alarm so you are awake when your wife leaves? We all have to face the consequences of our actions. One of the consequences of having a baby is you don't get to sleep in. NTA. Working overnights is tough, especially working that many hours a week. And only getting the chance to get a couple hours of sleep before you gotta wake up and take care of the kids sucks. No wonder you're dead to the world. You should communicate with her that only a couple hours of sleep after working however long of a shift you work is gonna make you dead to the world. Maybe hire a babysitter for half the day on Tuesdays so your kid is being watched and you get decent sleep. When you have an infant baby and your wife is working, you cannot sleep in. But your wife also shouldn't put the baby in a harmful situation. If you don't wake up to the baby, you need to set your alarm for 8 a.m. when she leaves. Yes. She's endangering the baby. Baby is safer in his crib crying. I get the want to get what sleep you can with a baby in the house. However, if the baby is awake, they need an adult awake in the house. Your wife can't get ready for work while tending a crying baby. Get up and take care of your kid. Also, reading between the lines a bit. If you don't wake up when baby cries, it follows that your wife is at a minimum waking up every time the baby does and then has wake you for your turns tending the baby. More likely she's just doing all the nighttime baby care. It is so exhausting when you only get to sleep an hour and a half chunks for months to years on end. I used to hate when my husband would wake up all cheery and inform me that the baby had slept great the previous night when I was running on an hour of sleep and had spent the entire night pacing. He didn't appreciate it when I would reply, "No, you slept well." NTA. Man works 70 hours, cooks, cleans and sleeps 3 15 minutes and is worried about the safety of the kid being in the bed. His wife drops baby in bed with a sleep-deprived, overworked husband so she can go to her part-time job that for some reason she can't work after her husband has had at least 6 hours of sleep. I'm disappointed by all the ESH judgments and I want to hope they came before your edit mentioning how many hours you work. NTA. Op. Take this time while she's away to rest up. I can't believe people are getting so mad. You're not sleeping in. You're barely sleeping at all. If the roles were reversed, people would be cursing at you for not letting your poor wife who does all the work sleep. NTA. Look, as a fellow heavy sleeper, I get it. I sleep through most of my alarms, it's a nightmare. But you need to do better. It's very dangerous to have the kid in the bed with a sleeping grown-up. And your wife ignoring that fact is insane. But you need to find a way to get your ass out of bed, and waiting for your kid to cry for 10 minutes isn't the way. You need to find a better way. You're supposed to be a team. Act like it. ESH. ETA. Op said it on the post, wasn't there before I commented. This isn't a case of Op just being a heavy sleeper. This is a case of Op being a human being who needs sleep to operate. This makes what the wife is doing even more dangerous. Changing to NTA. You need to find a solution, but this ain't it. I suggest a side sleeper for the bed. It's a cradle or bassinet for the side of the bed so your child is safe and you get some sleep. If you didn't want this happening, you should wake up when Leo does simply BC you sleep heavily. She was trying to help at 5 Mo postpartum. Info. Define sleeping in. What time are you waking up? You work 70 hours a week. She works 1 day. And you would be getting up on 3 hours of sleep? NTA. That's not nearly enough sleep, and if your wife wants to continue to work that 1 day a week, she needs to plan to help take care of the baby before, during, after she gets ready. I am going to say NTA. Op says he gets off work around 4:45 a.m. and is only 3 hours into his sleep cycle by the time the baby is placed in the bed. To compare, that's like my wife putting the baby in our bed at 12 a.m. 1 a.m. and expecting me to wake up and take care of it when the body naturally needs rest to survive. The baby would be perfectly fine left alone in its crib, allowed to cry it out. He says she only works 1 day a week, so is completely familiar with his sleep needs at this point, and only working that one job out of self-interest.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.